Object relationships is a very important topic for you to understand. Looking at the schema builder, you should be able to understand the different types of relationships used between objects. When you create a custom object, you will need to know how to create a relationship with other standard and custom objects. Here, we will see the different types of relationships that can exist between objects in Salesforce. This topic is important not only for administrator, but also for advanced administrator certificate. The exam guide for advanced administrator gives 19% weightage to objects and applications. The keywords are given a scenario. So expect questions on real life scenarios where they expect the administrator to come up with solutions to the requirements in the scenario. In this video, we will be looking at the different type of relationships and the considerations for these relationships. Relationships are created to link objects with each other. When the user looks at an object record, they can also see related data of the other object. This is a list of the different types of relationships that can be defined between objects in Salesforce. We will look at each one in detail. Lookup relationship. This is the most commonly used relationship. It links two different objects together. It can link an object to itself in a self relationship. In this diagram from the schema builder, we can see a lookup relationship from contact to account. It is a one-to-many relationship, meaning one account can have many contacts. On the contacts page layout, you will have a field to enter the associated account, which means you are looking up an account field from the contact record. On the account object page layout, this would result in a related list being available for inclusion in its page layout. When looking at an account record, you can look at a related list of contacts associated to that account. Master detail relationship is similar to lookup. It creates a closer link between objects. If the scenario given in the exam talks of a requirement to closely link two objects together, then think of using the master detail relationship. A good example is work order and work order line item. The master detail relationship is defined on work order line item. This makes work order the master record. Now, detail record cannot exist without master record. The master detail relationship field, which is the field linking the objects, is required on the page layout of the detail and subdetail records. Deleting the detail record will have no impact on master record, but deleting the master record will delete all detail records and subdetail records. Undeleting a master record also undeletes related detail and subdetail records. However, if you delete a detail record and later separately delete its master record, you can't undelete the detail record as it no longer has a master record to relate to. The owner field on the detail and subdetail records isn't available, and it is automatically set to the owner of the master record. Custom objects on the detail side of a master detail relationship can't have a sharing rules, manual sharing, or queues because these functionalities require the owner field. There's no owner field on the detail or subdetail side. Whoever owns the master record also owns the detail and subdetail records. The detail and subdetail records inherit the security settings and permissions from the master record. You can't set permissions on the detail record independently. Each custom object can have up to 2 master detail relationships, and each custom object can have a total of 40 relationships defined on it. Many-to-many relationships. There is no out-of-box many-to-many relationship in Salesforce. To define a many-to-many relationship, you have to create a junction object with 2 master detail relationships on each object. In the example here, a student can study many subjects. A subject can have many students enrolled. So we create a junction object called student subject. 2 master detail relationships are defined from the student subject to student and to subject. Now, student can have many student subject records with the same student name, And subject can also have many student subject records with the same subject name. Hierarchy relationship. This is a special lookup relationship that is available for only the user object. It lets users use a lookup field to associate one user with another user in such a way that it does not directly or indirectly refer to itself. So for example, you can create a custom hierarchical relationship field to store each user's direct manager. Self relationships can be used to look up another record in the same object. It is just another type of a lookup. In the example above, we can see that the contact has a self lookup relationship to track who the contact reports to. This manager of the contact is also another contact record. Similarly, the user object also has a self relationship to track the delegated approver. The delegated approver is also another user record. External and indirect relationships both refer to relationships with external objects. In external lookup, it links a child standard custom or external object to a parent external object. An indirect lookup links a child external object to a parent standard or custom object in Salesforce. Now, we'll be studying the relationships based on a scenario that we have explored in the previous videos as well. We have been working with a scenario of a business owner who runs a keychain business. Here we'll be focusing on the custom objects and the relationships that need to be created between these custom objects and standard objects. So let's look at a relationships scenario here. When accepting a keychain booking, Jenny needs to track which account has placed the order, and she also needs to track which model of keychain is being ordered. This requires a lookup from the keychain bookings to account and another lookup from keychain bookings to keychain models. In the next scenario, when accepting a keychain booking, Jenny needs to track which account has placed the order, and each booking can have multiple keychain models that are ordered. So here we are looking at a scenario where you not only have a keychain booking, but you also have a keychain booking line item, because each order can have multiple line items and each of those line items can refer to a particular keychain model. So what is required in these cases? We need a lookup from keychain bookings to account. We need a master detail relationship from keychain bookings to keychain booking line item. And we need a lookup from the keychain booking line item to the keychain models. Let's look at another scenario which requires many-to-many relationship to be defined. So here each booking line item can be dispatched in multiple shipments, which means you can have a partial delivery. If a particular booking line item has a quantity of 10, it is possible that you split that line item in 2 shipments. You send 5 keychains each in 2 different shipments. So each line item, each keychain booking line item can be sent out in multiple shipments. Similarly, each shipment can have multiple booking line items, because in one shipment, you can combine multiple booking line items, 4 or 5 line items, and include it in the same shipment package. So what is required to be defined is you have to create a many-to-many relationship between booking line item and shipment. To do this, you create a junction object called shipment booking line item, and then you create master detail relationship from shipment booking line item to booking line item and to shipment.